I'm Ashima Kaul, and come from Kashmir. I'm a Kashmiri Pandit. It's a minority community in Kashmir Valley, and they had to leave in 1990. There was a mass exodus after a mass rebellion of Kashmiri Muslims, but the rebellion by the Muslims was responded very brutally and harshly by the Indian state. The Indian army landed there. There was then proliferation of militant groups as well as of the state security forces. Lost in this whole brutalization of communities and groups was the voices of women. They were completely lost. So it so happened that my parents who live in Jammu, I have two children. My youngest son was then 1.5 years old, and I was completely a non-political person. I was happily married in New Delhi and raising my two kids and freelancing. And I went back to my parents' place for winter vacations. And a friend told me that there's a brilliant story for you. Why don't you do it? I said, what story? And so he said, no, you must go. And I went to this state government hospital. And believe me, I was shocked to see around 200 women in cold January. They had little babies in their hands, and their husbands were also with them. They were wearing these traditional Kashmiri farran, and they were squatting and they were huddled together in a line. And I asked them, why have they come? They had come from far remote villages of Kashmir Valley. When I had grown up in Kashmir, for us, villages was not in the realms of our consciousness. We were from elite families, so our circle was different. When I met these women, I asked why have they come, and they said that we have come to avail family planning facilities because the militants have banned family planning in Valley and we can't avail it. And because we are so scared of ourselves, and that as soon as we have 2 or 3 kids, we want to go for family planning, because you never know what can happen. Either the security forces or the militants can come, and if we get pregnant, what's going to happen? I was shocked to see, we had been hearing and listening all kinds of political violence stories coming from Kashmir, and that is when I decided I had to go back. And in the summer break in the same year, I didn't tell my husband, I didn't tell my family, I just told them that I have an assignment and if they can take care of my 2 kids. So I left my children with my parents and I took a flight and landed in Kashmir, and that's how it started. I started interviewing women, going to villages, and I can't describe, after coming back to Delhi, I used to internalize every story, every incident that I had heard. And they all wanted, when I went back, they all wanted to know what happened to what you had written about us. Nobody's taking any action, These were widows, these were half widows, women whose husbands had disappeared, and they're still waiting for them to come back. These were women in the migrant camps, so whole range of these issues. When I used to go back, they used to say, what happened, what have you done? So I started feeling guilty, as if, I'm just taking back stories and unable to do anything about it. And somehow, the kind of culture that I had grown up and the kind of freedom we had to express ourselves, we couldn't, there was so much of fear. The neighbors were not trusting each other. Even within one family, people were not trusting each other. So I wanted to do something about that, rebuild this trust, humanize the whole thing, heal people, and bring these divided communities together to dialogue at least. So one way was to engage with women, because that would serve two purposes. It will bring not only their voice, but they will be able to create a situation, a space through their listening to each other, where possibly reconciliation can happen. Uh, though there are other issues of justice, whether reconciliation can happen if there is no justice, those issues are also important. But in my experience, I've seen that people are able to reconcile to each other at a human level. They do want justice, but somehow they start forgiving each other, because you want to heal yourself also. You don't want to live in that pain and bitterness, and you want to move on also. So that's why I say there is a lot of hope I see in people.